everyone. Today we're going to be making my favorite kind of recipe, a dump and done recipe. What I mean by that is you just dump everything in the pan, put a lid on it, and then it cooks by itself. So today we're going to be making enchilada pasta. Great recipe to tailor to all the different likes and dislikes in your household. So I'm just turning on my stove to medium-high heat. I've got kind of like a big saucepan here, which should be good for this recipe. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. If you're oil-free, don't add the oil. You can just add a little bit of broth or water. And then all we're gonna do is dump all the things in. So you can use black beans, pinto beans, whatever kind of Mexican-inspired bean that you like. I prefer pinto beans, but I don't have any. I only had a small can of black beans, so that's what I'm using today. And I have rinsed these, and they're ready to go. So I'm gonna dump those in. I have a can of corn that I have drained. I'm gonna dump that in. And I have a little can of diced green chilies. You can find this in all the supermarkets. I think this is from Superstore. And you just dump it in. Okay, next up is our bag of egg noodles. This recipe feeds 4 typically. If you need to feed more, you can just double it. Very easy to double. So we're gonna use half of this bag. I'm not gonna measure it, I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'm notorious for cooking way more noodles than I need to. Probably because subconsciously I just really love pasta. I have my spices pre-measured here. I'm just gonna dump those on. And then I also have broth and water. So you're gonna cook it in broth. You can use vegetable broth, chicken broth, beef broth. Your broth is gonna be mixed in with your spices. So you're gonna dump in your spice mix and then 2 cups of water. I have 2 teaspoons of my broth mix in this 1 cup of water. So I'm just gonna dump that in. And then I'm gonna add an extra cup of water. And then I'm gonna give this all a good stir. So everything is well combined. I'm gonna turn the heat up to high. Really crank it. And then keep an eye on it, and as soon as it starts boiling, we're gonna put the lid on, turn it down, and make sure it maintains like a simmer boil, and let it cook for 10 minutes because you want those noodles to absorb all of this moisture. Okay, so now that we are boiling, we're going to put our lid on. Try to make sure kind of all the noodles are submerged. Give them a little bit of a move around. Put your lid on so that you retain some of the moisture. You don't want it all to boil off. And then we're going to turn our heat down to low, medium, and let it simmer for 10 minutes. Okay, so our 10 minutes has passed. Halfway through that 10 minutes, at about the 5-minute mark, I lifted the lid, gave it a good stir, put the lid back on, and left it alone. So your pasta should be nice and soft now, al dente. You have a little bit of liquid left. So we're just gonna give it a bit of a stir, combine everything. I'm gonna turn the heat right off. And we're gonna add our cheese, half a cup of cheese. This is probably more than a half a cup. And I'm gonna add a half a cup of sour cream. This is 250 mils of sour cream, which is about a cup. So I'm just gonna scoop out about a half. So you can make this recipe plant-based. The different ways to do that, there's lots of different ways. So instead of sour cream, you could use a plant-based yogurt. Just a plain yogurt, not a flavored yogurt. You could use vegan cheese. If you don't like plant-based cheese, you could use nutritional yeast. It's an excellent sub for real cheese. It has a really cheesy flavor. It's it has B12 in it. It's a really great substitute. If you don't like the Greek yogurt idea or the plant-based yogurt idea, you could make a cashew cream if you have a high-powered blender. If you don't have a high-powered blender, you can soak cashews in hot water for about half an hour until they soften up a bit. You can put them in a blender in a Vitamix. You can Google a recipe for how to make a cashew cream. It's very, very simple. You just take a cup of cashews or a half a cup of cashews, depending on what you want your output to be. You add water, you add a bit of salt, you add some nutritional yeast. If you don't have nutritional yeast, you don't have to add it. You can just blend cashews and water to make a cream. If you want to make it a little bit sour, like sour cream, you can add just a teaspoon of vinegar, and that will mimic a sour cream flavor. So really, really easy ways to make this recipe plant-based and entirely dairy-free. So we're just gonna mix in our sour cream and our cheese. It makes it so creamy. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like green onions, so I'm not gonna add the green onions to this. I also don't have any, so there's that. If you like more cheese, add in more cheese. If you like more sour cream, add in more sour cream. If you don't like sour cream, you could use heavy cream or whipping cream. You could use coconut milk, a full fat coconut milk, if you don't mind that little bit of a coconut flavor. You could add chicken, beef, lots of different things that you can do with this recipe. The beans in this recipe are going to be enough protein. If you use cashews as a replacement for the sour cream, that's going to add more protein as well. We know dairy has a little bit of protein in it as well. So this is a good, well-rounded meal. You can serve it with a salad. You could add vegetables, lots of things you could do with it, and it's so easy. Dump in all your ingredients, put on a lid, and dinner is done. Hope you enjoy.